Hello everybody, welcome to Nate's Take. Today we're going to talk about how to be more confident. Now there's two different directions we're going to take with this. The first direction is looking more confident or sounding more confident. And then the other direction we're going to take is how to actually be more confident. Okay, so first let's just talk about some tweaks that you can do to make you look and sound more confident. The first big one is practice. If you have a script or you have a presentation, practice, right? And you'll get more confident in it, or at least you'll sound and you'll look more confident. I think a little of both will happen. Back when I started doing video, which is when I started my web design company, I was a real mess. I knew I wanted to use video to market and explain my services, but it was really hard for me to make a good video. So for example, I'd get in front of the camera, I might have a whole bunch of bullet points listed out, but I didn't want to keep looking down and then back at the camera. So I tried to memorize it and I'd get in front of it and then I'd mess up and like, oh, now I've got to redo the whole thing again. And I'd go through it and I'd have to redo the whole thing again. And so then I tried to memorize it. Or I would hang a little paper below it and have little bullet points. And one video, even just a short 3-minute video, I'd be recording for an hour. It was hard. So one thing that really helped was I got a teleprompter. All right, so here's my actual teleprompter. This is the one that I lug around with me. It's a heavy wooden box. It's got this special beam splitter glass, and my iPad with a special teleprompter app goes inside there. The words shine up and reflect off of the glass towards me, and the camera goes behind it. So I can look right at the camera, and yet I can still see the words. So in the beginning, using a teleprompter was a big help. It just helped me feel a lot more confident to make these videos, that I'd be able to make good ones. And I think the production quality came out great. I was able to just look straight at the camera, and yet I didn't have to stress so much about my words, so it really cut down on the amount of time I was putting into each of these videos. The one drawback of using a teleprompter is you do not want to sound scripted, and you can easily get into that rut when you're reading something, right? So that's an area where you want to practice as well. You'll read, I mean, even if you got your script in your hands on paper, read it through it and see how you sound. Make sure you're sounding conversational, like you're talking to someone through that camera, on the other side of that camera. It'll also be helpful just to talk about the fear of making mistakes. We should just eliminate that altogether when you're in front of a camera, because one, mistakes can be edited out. And then two, I've embraced the philosophy that mistakes are stepping stones to success. I love learning and growth, and I know if I'm making mistakes that I'm stretching myself. So that's a topic for another conversation, but with a camera, you can erase all of your mistakes. So one more point here on how to look and sound confident is to talk about things that you really know a lot about. And if you have a strong opinion about something, definitely share your opinion, because you will just come across way more confident. So for example, when people start asking me questions about YouTube or how to be successful on YouTube or get a lot more views or things like that, I just, I'm real animated. I've got good facial expressions and things like that, and I have a lot to say. If you were to ask me, why should you buy a blender bottle, I would have to think about it. I'd probably have to be scripted like, well, it holds water really well. I'm just not going to come across very confident. I'm not very confident in selling this thing, right? So that's just a natural thing. So now let's shift the conversation to becoming more confident internally. I've definitely grown a lot over the years, and as I look back at the history of videos that I've created, and let's say I'm just looking at it in terms of how confident do I look, and remembering how confident I was on video, there's a big change that progresses over time. Part of that comes through practice and repetition and getting more comfortable with things, but part of it was also a choice. I recognized that I had a struggle with confidence, and I intentionally chose to put myself in uncomfortable situations so that I could become more confident and more comfortable. As I started training on video, or as I started training, in front of live people, I had to commit to myself that I knew what I was talking about and that my opinions were valid. And just by making that choice, that allowed me to be a lot more confident. Another scary step is to take a step of vulnerability. knowing that I'm going to put myself out there and let people see me and see if they like me or not. I consciously made the decision that I like me. I like who I am. In fact, I love myself, and it doesn't matter what other people think. And I just had to repeat that affirmation over and over. So in summary, I'll say that confidence really is a decision. If you decide that you're confident and you tell yourself, I am confident, I'm a confident person, it really will result in you becoming confident. If you, on the other hand, say things like, I'm shy, or those things scare me, or I'm timid, I don't like being in front of a camera, I don't like speaking in front of people, then it's never going to translate into that confidence that you're looking for. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Be sure to subscribe, check out some of these other videos, and you have an influential day.